Jobson. I have only known you for 2 years now, and what a blast it has been getting to know you. Thank you so much for taking me out to the Bandits game. You are now the Spirits GM. Brian McVaugh has season tickets to the Bandits. He said if you can get us there, he's going to give us tickets. You got us there. Thank you very much for that. And how long have you known Brian?
For a few years now, like in the box lacrosse community and the lacrosse community, you see the same guys, you play against the same guys, and you become acquainted on and off the field, right? And the last couple of years in the NABL playing against him, he's played for the Eels. I played obviously for the Yeti, and then starting our own thing up here. And he's just a good guy that wants to grow the game, and they got a good thing going down there in Seneca Lake. Chris Crane. Chris started it, and then Brian came on, and then I think Patty Crosby there is going to be joining them too, which is awesome. They used to all be part of the River Monsters, I think. I know Crosby used to be the GM. I know Chris played with them because I played with Chris there one game a couple of years ago when I was playing for the Yeti. And they got some good stuff going in Seneca Lake. I think it's a great opportunity to grow the game, and they're very close to some pretty strong box lacrosse and lacrosse community in general. The Finger Lakes with Canandaigua and Penn Yan especially, not being far from there, that they should have a pretty competitive team, and the community should really take them in.
Yeah, no, I would expect great things are happening out there. I mean, Brian, he's one of those guys. He's driving still in what is it, an hour? I think he said to do it. So I mean, that's obviously how strongly they feel about the community where they're going. That they've got a bunch of players. Crosby's in. Everybody wants to be in. That's always it's fun to hear the excitement like when you're talking to them because they're like, yeah, it's a bit overwhelming, but we're really hoping we've got this many core guys, but because that's the biggest thing when you start one of these teams is you're really wondering and you're kind of going out on a limb. Am I going to be able to find 20 guys that are going to run with me every night and travel and go to nationals if we win? Because it's not like you're asking somebody to show up to a pickup league. You're asking for a serious commitment.
Yeah, that's the scariest part about, when you start the team. So like when I decided to start it, it's like, yeah, I know enough guys, might be interested, like a handful, 5, maybe 10. And I know there's people you could talk to, but it's sort of like if you build it, they will come, so like you just start and then all of a sudden you end up with a core group. And I was very lucky myself to have like plenty of guys. I mean, I had 45 committed guys that would have shown up, if their number was called to dress or whatever. And I traveled with a full 30 to nationals, and a lot of teams were like, "Wait, why aren't you dressing? Why aren't you dressing?" Well, because we have too many. We got 30 out here, and you can only dress 22. So that was actually a pretty comforting and great feeling out in nationals because it's scary starting your own team, but I think they'll be fine down there. There's a lot of lacrosse between Rochester and Syracuse, and because my assumption is there's no Syracuse team this year,
Well,
so
they
they'll
both
pull.
played for the Syracuse team, and they don't really seem like they would have abandoned ship if they felt confident there was going to be a program.
It's
Just,
hard to say.
I mean, they may have if they were disappointed in the program. I mean, who knows? But I would be just willing to bet that with Brian and Crane leaving, the guys that are going to play with those two guys are going to play with those two guys if they go regardless, So you would have to replace all that in Syracuse. They were light on numbers as it was. So
Yeah, a couple of those guys have signed up, for me too. So I have some guys from that area, so it'll be good. I think Seneca Lake is pretty awesome. I'm pumped to get down there.
yeah, they're in for a treat. Right off the bat, he buries it. What did you think of the game, I guess, first and foremost? What were you thinking? Like, I know me, when Buffalo came out and got the goals off the start, I was like, oh boy, it's gonna be a long night.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about it. I know Albany has a strong offense, but I'm definitely for the Bandits. Like they're a great team and storied history and fun to watch, real fun to watch. And they're electric when they get going. So I really did think once we started off hot like that, that it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with Dougie early made a couple of big breakaway saves. it's amazing what a difference a goalie makes. I mean, not having Matt Vince. What'd you think of Shanahan playing in this first game? That's got to be quite the feeling to be out there in Buffalo as your first game. The crowd there is they're crazy. It's amazing.
And playing against the number one team in the league too. I mean, that's the thing. You got to give Albany credit. They beat Buffalo already this year. They're number one in the NLL, and they come into Buffalo. And this guy gets his first start. He did a good job. I know he's friends with Brian. Actually, Brian's friends with him, and he did a good job. I thought, especially early. But later you'll see some of the goals were just they're pretty much putting it in the same spot, kind of like on his right side. And don't get me wrong, they were good shots. I mean, no discredit to him. He played a great game, but
No,
we got lost a couple times. That
y-
happens.
yeah, and you brought it up perfectly. I actually noticed it where we were sitting because so essentially, if this is going the way I think it is, we're can you see the mouse pointer? We're like
Yeah,
just up above.
we're up over to the right. Yep, we're just above. Kind of, there's a Coca-Cola sign on the boards
Yep.
that takes to the tunnel, and we're just above the tunnel to the right. We're just out of the frame.
Yeah. And I honestly, when it was 2-0, I was like, oh boy, here we go. But Walker gets him on the board. Now, is
Yep.
this the first time you've seen Albany with this team? I mean, you haven't seen him yet this year, right?
Live, yeah. So like, what's ironic for me, and a lot of people are gonna, you know, maybe try to cancel me. I'd never gone to an NLL game other than an All-Star game a long time ago when they hosted it at Turning Stone. And this year is the first year I actually was able to make it to an NLL game, and I've been to three now in Buffalo.
It's a special experience in Buffalo. It's almost a disappointment when you go to some of these other games and they don't have the crowd quite like Buffalo does because that's just an atmosphere and a party. Like everybody's on the same page, they all start the same chants. It's impressive. And then
Yeah, they have something special there for sure.
and right here they get the crowd fired up. But what did you it was a very chippy game.
Yeah, that throughway rivalry, and Albany always plays Buffalo tough. Even last year when they were like 4-13, they played Buffalo tough every time, and Buffalo won it all. So now this year, Albany's gotten the best of them during this regular season. At this point, I really thought this was going to be good for Buffalo. I thought, they're up 2-1. They got the crowd going. Things are going great. But really, this seemed to fire up Albany more than it seemed to fire up the Bandits.
Yes, that's a very accurate statement. I like how you described that. But
Yeah.
so we got there and it was actually Indigenous Heritage Night there. So that was cool. The jerseys, I know they were sold out at the arena. I talked to Bradley and he told me he's like, "Hey, I'm trying to get one. Can you believe they sold out of them already?" And that was what, like 30 minutes before the game started?
Yeah, it was nuts. The place was, I mean, we got there pretty early, and even when we walked in, the line was insane. Uh, yeah, it's not surprising.
No.
They're very cool jerseys. Heritage Night's always a big night.
It was. It was really cool. I enjoyed what they do. I love how the teams are each doing it and auctioning the jerseys off and doing whatever afterwards. And spreading awareness, bringing it to the forefront. I know I'm into lacrosse, so that's how I learned about it a long time ago, but a lot of people don't know the history. I like how they touched on the Cayuga Treaty. That was I think they did a pretty good job in Buffalo with it, really.
Yeah, for sure.
But right here, he is so good with that. What did you I mean, this was a nice goal, but what did you think of those little stick fakes from Simmons? That was Brian said he goes, "That is such it you don't appreciate it like you do when you see it live. And you're a guy that throws that like drastic stick fake that gets people psyched out, and his stick never stops like that. It's always wait, is he throwing? It's like a boxer kind of feinting at you as they're coming.
Yeah, Simmons. So the first game of the year, when they played Buffalo, I believe, right in Albany,
Yeah.
um, obviously was like a coming out party. This kid's real good. And seeing him play live is, yeah, his stick is never stopping, and that's real important. Because you have the goalie not knowing what's going to happen. Is he going to shoot? Is he going to pass? It's like the triple threat in basketball. When Simmons has that ball, and a lot of good box, like the good box players, offensive players do the same thing. His stick doesn't stop. Like he could release it at any point. So he does a really good job of that, and it was super impressive to see in person.
Yeah, and I just realized that we went by. probably the best you're going to see us. There's our legs. We're underneath the ESPN Plus sign. It's sitting up there.
Let's see. I got to move my body here. I got my face over it. Oh yeah. Well, oh
Oh,
yeah.
I
Under
just
the
put the logo
logo.
back up. Yeah.
Under the logo. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
I
We're
mean,
right.
you can. Yeah, you can see my orange shirt belly right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. My gray hood. Yeah, there we are. Hey, we made it to TV.
That's how I can see the Spirits logo just up underneath it. And I'm looking at it on a bigger screen too, because I've got it full
Yeah.
screen. So for me, yeah, I can see the Spirits logo up there, and then I can
No,
see
see
your
the
orange
big
shirt.
belly. That's great. Let's cover that back up.
All right. Well, it's a nice billboard as you're going. But no,
Absolutely.
yeah, Brian said it too, like you said, just constantly, and it makes the defense pay attention to, what you're doing. At this point, though, Buffalo, I mean, they got on their heels quick. Albany, this goal, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that was sick, man. You know, you're a lacrosse fan. You don't like that. You're nuts.
Yeah, you're not really enjoying the game. It was hard. And
And he's a
honest,
rookie too, right, Kurtz?
that's what I was just going to say. And he gets
Yeah.
overshadowed a lot, but he had a sock trick. But yeah, when you look at like what his season totals are too, he has been amazing. It's I don't know. I'm a huge fan of him. The offense is so good this year. I always feel like you're leaving somebody out when you talk about it just by not mentioning their name. Like Travis Longboat, 2 goals, 2 assists, the 4 points, and just Simmons only had 1 goal and he shoots a lot, but he picks up a lot of loose balls, which I always
Yeah,
kind of
that's wild. I didn't even realize he only scored once.
yeah, he only had 1 goal. He had 5 assists though.
I was gonna say he had a lot of dimes though, right?
Yeah.
He was still doing his thing.
Well, and as you watch the highlights, you'll see how important it is. They take that first shot. Albany always seems to stretch the shot clock out. They like to wear the defense out. They either come down fast and score, or they come down and make you run all over the floor.
Yeah, they do a really wide set, and that's something that I think a lot of those younger guys have a lot of field experience. Um, I would think. I don't know. I think Simmons and Kurtz. So they really spread you out wide and try to kind of dodge up top. I noticed, which works really well because it's all that space and running is something very common in field.
Yeah, and look at that pick from Kluche. I think
Yeah,
they.
it's beautiful.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know about Kurtz 100%, but I think he was. I know Simmons was a junior A player.
Yeah, I know Simmons has that background for sure, and then Kurtz I think played at Delaware.
Yeah. But this pick from Kluche, that was just gorgeous. They get the extra man on the
Mhm.
delayed penalty and get him out. But this, I thought, was a pretty impressive stat sheet right here that you've got, 2 of the point leaders out of 5.
Yeah, yeah, and Buffalo, those two guys, and that is kind of if Buffalo's other guys don't play well or don't contribute, that's when Buffalo tends to have problems. Like Chase Frazier, who's amazing. He's one of my favorite players to watch. He didn't have his best night. Tahoka didn't. It was his first game back. I know he had a goal. I think just one. He always does great things, but if you got to find a way to get those guys on the scoreboard.
Yeah. No, they do. So this was the first time that I've sat so close to Josh Byrne and watched him play.
Yeah,
You
he's incredible.
even where we sit, you don't quite get the appreciation compared to how close we were there. And
Mhm.
he is fast. And he is deceptively fast. His speed change is so good.
Yeah, he's very athletic.
Yeah. No, I just
Very.
I was so impressed with the way he changes directions or launches, and it's just so deceptive. He's another one of those guys. He throws a lot of fakes as he's coming, but it works. And this guy, you told me about him, so I paid a lot more attention. Other than him getting, mopped up at the faceoff X, really, it was. I was very. He's a great transition player, but I mean, they all talked about it at the bar afterwards. Their faceoffs are just atrocious.
Yeah, they don't. It appears that Buffalo isn't running with the face-off guy. They're putting transition guys out there. We even saw Tohoka taking some. Um, and I'm not sure why that's the method they're going with. I think maybe they think they can just battle for ground balls every time because they are certainly good enough. But I do think that's a risky move later on when you need the ball back, like at the end of this game where they're trying to catch up. And Albany's got Nardella is a great faceoff guy. I do think that is something Buffalo is clearly lacking, and they should really consider getting someone that can face off and have that be their job. But in the NLL, you have limited rosters too. You don't run 20 runners. You have 17, I think. runners on the floor. So you need guys that can do it all. So and that's a hard thing to find. There's not a lot of withers in the world that can face off, go 30 for 30, and then put up 6 points.
Yeah, no, that's Withers is that's an amazing talent. He went 30. Nardella didn't do quite as good. He was 25 for 27. So I mean, he still had a good night. But
Yeah, it was fun.
what'd you think of watching Grennan? He's fun, isn't he?
I noticed him early in the season, but it wasn't until I was there. And you just like if you just take your time and watch him for 3 or 4 possessions, man, he's a wild little guy. He gets in, he goes right after the big dudes. He no fear. Like I love it. Like he mixes it up. He protects his team. That's the one thing Albany does. Like I think you mentioned, like when we were watching their offense at one point, like even right here, their offense is they're half their size. The Buffalo are big, intimidating defenders, and these Albany guys half their size and aren't afraid even a little bit.
They stay right in the middle, and that's always the most impressive part. I see. So you see, if you have a team that doesn't have guys that'll go in the middle, Buffalo will dominate you because that's how they play. They play a bully style. And Colorado's the same way. If you have the guys that are willing to go in there and just get the snot kicked out of them, possession after possession, and then can do this on top of it. Wow.
Yeah, it's true. Albany is way a lot more fun to watch in person.
Albany's a blast to watch when they're playing good. When their offense isn't ticking, it's great. But I mean, I honestly think they've relied on Matt Vince so much. Like on the faceoff, you can assume Vince was going to get that save. You were going to get the possession. It's like when guys do that, shoot it, we give them the possession, we get a final timeout as long as we get the rebound. Not most
Yeah,
not most people are going to be confident that their defense is going to get the save or the save from the goalie and the rebound from the defense. But Buffalo, I feel like they are, and I think that's why they haven't had to worry about it. But now you're seeing the repercussions of it, essentially.
yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't think Buffalo. I think they've had decent face-off guys in the past. But I don't. If you think about it, I don't know if that's just how they do it there. It's interesting.
It's definitely interesting. But if you think about it, really, how many guys are there that have done well against Withers? Like, who's done the best against him? I would say Nardella, and I think he went 30% against Withers.
Oh, really? Yeah,
It
Withers is
wasn't it wasn't as good, but I tell you, I think that game in particular, he played better defense than Withers, and Withers takes dumb penalties sometimes.
yeah,
You can count on if it start like if he was in this game right here, there's so many Halifax players that don't have the discipline Albany does, and I think it speaks volumes to the Coach Clark, but they don't take as many. Grennan still does, and you'll see Clark yelling at him. This save was beautiful. Tahoka diving across, and he just gets his arm on it. Oh man,
yeah. Jameson's a good goalie, man.
yeah.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, and here's where everything kind of this escalates quickly.
Yep, yep. Down in the corner. Didn't have a great angle on it live, but you definitely do on ESPN Plus and Hulu.
Yeah, and there's Grennan just doing what he does. He is such a pest into him. Yeah, the
Yeah, he went
power.
right after Priolo, I think, on that play. That's
Yeah,
the one.
but yeah, no, on this goal right here, that was impressive. I didn't notice it live, and somebody actually just commented on the short of it that I released with Stamper there that he he continues to sell the fake by cradling.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't
He
just
waited
pass it.
perfect. Yeah, he waited the perfect time. As soon as he kind of looks his head this way, as he's turning his head is when Marshall throws that ball, and it's the timing is just absolutely perfection. So I mean, the goalie, it's tough when the ball's behind in box across, because the goalie can't turn around like they can in field. So you got to rely on.
All right,
We should be good.
we're good to go now for a couple minutes, anyways. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, like you said, because actually, as Marshall's throwing it, he's looking that way, but Paulus knows he has to look back at.
yeah. As soon as his head's turning, he throws it. It's really unbelievable. The perfect timing.
Yeah, and continuing the to pretend like he had it, just a beautiful sell. And he doesn't score a ton of goals. He is one of those guys. He helps your offense with the assist, but just creating the movement. And there you see Frazier just running over. I think that's
Yeah,
Ethan
Burns.
Walker.
Yeah, that's Burn running down the middle there.
No, on the goal, but watch
Oh
Chase
yeah, look
Frazier
at that! Holy cow, look at that pick. Yeah, I see that now.
completely just boom.
Oh, blindsided.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, he did not have the best game. Burn though is just right there because that was right in front of us. When you watch the way he moves, that goal, I was like, wow, he covered that distance in less than a second.
Yeah, he's fast, man.
But Albany did a pretty good job getting the offensive rebounds, and that's why I say with Matt Vince, I think he hid some of the holes in Buffalo's defense that you see from time to time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It definitely seems like they're getting older and slower when these Albany guys are there.
Yeah, I mean, here's Priolo out on the top with Spanger, and
Yeah, that's just a sick shot, man.
yeah,
I mean,
hit,
I think any goalie, that's a tough save.
yeah, this was a beautiful save right on the crease, and this is why I say like you really, I think it's their defense is there's more problems with their defense than people let on, but yeah, all alone you can't have that kind of time on the crease, and what a save,
Yeah, it's great.
yeah, and then Weiss, gets the loose ball, but I don't know, I think that was a lot of it. The rebounds you watched, Albany did a lot of the little things right, and this goal right here though, it's
Yeah, that was nuts. Fake of the game for sure.
100%. And you can see Jameson's like, uh-oh. And Tchaikovsky, if he had whacked at his stick, instead he just like drops the stick
Yeah, yeah,
barely on top of it. He's like, I'm gonna play goalie. And actually he probably just pushes the net off, helping him with the angle.
yeah. Yeah, that was all a mess. That whole goal was amazing and
But
messy.
look how close Jameson is to it, because he's got his stick back up there and he's got the glove.
Yeah, the stick's like behind the goal.
The stick's not gonna
Oh,
help.
it's in. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty incredible. Oh, it's in the front. Wow, he's still almost, you know,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Sleepy
Is
put
he
it right where he
almost
needed to, man, right dead center.
Yeah, he's Dougie's good. He's way better in tight. Where they get him is he stays in that. I like to call it the Crosby style because he was the first goalie I watched, and like he plays it so like that's what he does. He stays on that line, and to
Yeah,
watch,
Steele's on the line.
yeah, and just to watch the way they do it when it's in close, you see why because they make these great passes, but then sometimes it leaves you susceptible. But yeah, here's Gredden going after Priolo, and he doesn't even like stand up
No,
to
no fear. That guy's nuts.
I'm gonna tackle him. Yeah, on top of me.
Oh yeah, this is the one. This is the big one here in the corner.
Yeah, he's like to the other ref. He's like, we got to get over into the corner. So Spanger comes in. He gets involved. I love it. Greta just steps off like, all right, I'm out. But this right here, Watkinson, I didn't really. You don't notice it till you're watching it later. But he could have pummeled this guy a couple more times, and he basically
Yeah,
lets up.
yeah,
He hit him a few times, and then he's just like, all right, bud.
that's true. And this one really got Albany going.
Yeah. And that's what I mean is like you would expect at Buffalo, the house was rocking at this point. Everybody's going nuts. But it did. Anytime you see Colton Watkinson fighting, you know it didn't start with him. It's just
Yeah,
he's not that guy. And then same with Jokum. He doesn't either. But what a player he's been on defense. He doesn't get a lot of highlights mentioned because he's a defenseman, but he's been huge. But this one right here, this is something Stanford pointed out to me. I didn't really think about. So it's a quick stick that hits him in front, and he has to, catch it, get it around his head, and back, all in one
yeah,
motion.
yeah. He catches it. That's Shanahan, right? Or Buchanan's Buchanan.
Buchanan, yeah,
Yeah, Buchanan is great around the crease there. But yeah, and he sticks it, just hits the goalie right in the top shoulder pad and sneaks it right over him.
yeah, it was beautiful. And there's the outside shot as well. I think Kurtz was on fire this game though.
Yeah, Kurtz was pretty impressive, man. Pretty impressive.
Seemed like everything he shot was just, making it. But like you said, they did notice something with his hip. And I actually saw it kind of when we were there, when you watched him step out towards, like, if somebody was on the
Yeah, he
point.
takes a big step with that right foot, and it opens up that on his right side there for sure.
Yeah. No, Jameson, you really only need a handful of saves, if that, and those are them right there.
Yep, those are big saves. Could have tied the game and
Well, that
stops. This is the third period. This is the third quarter, the one that we least like watching.
Oh, I don't know. Like you said afterwards, it does fly by when there's no whistles like that. But did you see that block?
Let's see here. Oh yeah, yeah, that's crazy. And who is that? Is that Belter?
Yeah, that's Belter. He just dives out because he actually got beat on the play. That's the reason he had a wide open shot. But he
Yeah, he
totally,
had a great game.
yeah, totally redeemed himself. How about that for his first game ever in the NLL? He had to be pretty excited.
Pretty cool.
I was just glad to be there, so that's cool. I watched him all summer, and then to see him when he gets his call up, I had just had him on the podcast a couple weeks ago, see how he was doing with the ankle healed up. He said he was starting to feel better. A lot of it was just you can never really get in game shape unless you play against, in a game. You know how it is. There's no speed like game speed.
No.
Right there, Dougie coming up big. But even more than that was just their ability to control the rebound, I think, and have more offensive possessions. And really, I think Shanahan played great. Like, I mean, yes, there might be a couple that he wanted back, but really, a lot of these, his defense left him out there quite a bit.
Yeah, he made some great saves. And then there's just one tiny weakness Albany noticed, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, that's why they're pros. But Buffalo had a hard time hitting the net, and that's credit to Jameson. He makes it hard, but this right here, they are just so tough inside. Monsters.
Yeah, they're not little guys.
No, and I noticed it, like you said, more than anything, when you actually just see him standing on the field, you really see the size difference between them.
Yeah, that's where I was like super impressed with Albany because you look down that other end and they're coming up to these guys' shoulders,
Yeah,
their head, and it's like,
he's riding him like a
holy
bull.
cow.
Hang on, I gotta re-show that one because I had your graphic covering it up. I always forget. I'm looking at the replays on a ginormous screen. It's my whole monitor, so
Oh,
I don't
gotcha.
always see it. Oh no, all right, the graphics below it. We get to see Belter riding
Yeah,
him. But yeah, so they got the ball back on that one. He's like, no way, because they're like, he's in the crease. I love Buffalo. Their whole mentality is just like, oh, the refs suck. But I mean, there's another opportunity for Buffalo. Missed the net, goes off the back of the net. Could have been a shorthanded goal, tied the game up.
yeah, they just couldn't do it in the third.
No, they struggled. And here, I mean, both goalies were playing good, but you would hope, that they could stop. Yeah, that was Sturos just agitating somebody again and getting somebody to take another penalty.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Very. And here you're going to see him. Frazier is just like, are you serious?
Yeah, during the first week, when he was playing Buffalo, I actually messaged him on Facebook and just told him how, like, I can't remember the play, but he made an amazing play in that first game, and I messaged him. I was like, "That was sick, man."
Yeah. He's a
You
great
know?
he's a great guy. I've talked to him a handful of times. We cover him in the summer and he is awesome. But this dunk by Kurtz and the defense, it's tough there because you've got Travis Longboat coming in, and as soon as he gets that step on Belter, they try to, slide to help him out, which is what you want him to do. But as soon as he slides, that leaves, Kurtz all alone on that dunk. And again, it's in before Shanahan even starts moving that way.
Yeah, it's bang bang.
Yeah, so fast. And there's a huge save. That I think right there, if they had scored
Yeah, it
now,
could have gotten ugly.
yeah, it could have given them, more of a cushion, and especially to shut them out in the second period, like or the third quarter, like Dougie was able to.
Yeah, it's pretty wild third. 15 goals in the first half, and then one goal in the third quarter.
Yeah, Yeah, it was nuts. But I credit Albany's defense. They played pretty good. And I honestly just think Shanahan stepped up more. I think Buffalo's defense is the problem. You see, they like that shot he wants back. But either way,
Yeah, he just takes that step.
yeah, you got to have somebody on in that guy's hands so he can't hit that spot. Exactly. But yeah, Dougie played great. You can see why he was a goalie of the year a couple years ago. This one, it's so close. They called it no goal and then they never reviewed it, but that was pretty close. That could have been a good one. There's Buffalo missing the net again.
Yeah, they had a tough time in the second half. It was tough to watch at times, um, because they are so good. So it was tough to see if they have a tough time hitting the net, then
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to come back.
Yeah. Well, and here's a beautiful, the fundamentals. He's under his hand, picking it up. So as he shoots it, it kind of rolls towards Dougie, but not super fast. Yeah, Albany does a good job fundamentally on defense, staying under guys for the most part. I mean, they have their lapses like everybody does, but I think they were better than Buffalo's defense is really what it came down to.
Yeah, for sure. They're better than Buffalo both games this year.
Yeah. No, and I got a little nervous after they lost their 2 games in a row, but they make plays like that, bailing them out.
Yeah, this was a huge statement for them to
And
come back, go here, and play so well in Buffalo.
yeah, and
It was a big statement.
a lot of mental mistakes by Buffalo, like that pass right there goes off. They get the possession, get the reset, something that Albany did really well. If there was 5 more minutes in that game, they always say that 5 more minutes we would have won. It's like, well, why didn't you just start 5 minutes sooner? You had
Yeah,
60.
that's true.
But yeah, because like you said, Simmons steps out and shoots a lot from out the outside. So that creates so much more offense than people give it credit because he has to step out. So then once the goalie's stepping there, by the time he steps over to Grennan or whoever on the far side, it's a tough shot.
Yeah, and you have to respect him because the guy can zing it in there.
Yeah.
So it's not like anybody just shooting a ton. It's a legitimate scorer that shoots a lot and opens things up for everyone else.
Yeah. This was a beautiful. I don't know if the back check actually made him miss the net or not, but it may have. But this is Paulus, and this is when the behind the back fails, it fails gloriously because all their momentum was going forward.
Yeah, yep. This is a great play on defense too to catch up.
Yeah. Ethan Walker's been a great leader. So him and Marshall are kind of your senior leaders on the offensive side of the floor, and they both combined have 6 years in the NLL. I think they got 3 apiece, maybe.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Albany. They're very young, and they have a very promising future.
Yeah, I got nervous that the offense was going to stall out when everybody got the footage, and we did see it a little bit in there. But here's another one of those where we got to see just how fast he comes off that corner once he decides to step and shoot. Because yeah, here's a little bit better view of us. You can actually see your shirt on this one.
Hey, look at us.
Yeah. So we're right up in there. This was after Buffalo. Some of the fans had already abandoned because I see Brian already got to slide over his seat.
Yeah, Brian slid over his
A
seat.
lot of fair weather Buffalo Bandit fans, I tell you.
More than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah, and then I tell you, so when Byrne turns this quarter here and shoots and scores, and I'm like, okay, Buffalo might make a game out of this, but Albany did okay until the end when I thought Buffalo, they really missed on some key opportunities. Albany tried to give them the game back at one point, just giving them the offensive possession and offensive possession.
Yeah, that would have been a huge goal
Yeah,
right there. And
yeah,
he makes a great save, and that would have and that's Ian McKay again, who we talked about earlier briefly. Until I watched him play live, I didn't really appreciate what an amazing player he is. He is everywhere. He does it all.
yeah.
Um,
Well, this is
it-
yeah, that's the thing here though. So really on this face off, this is he wins 2. This is one of them. So it was really, if he had scored there, everybody been talking about, oh, he wins the most important ones, da 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 da. And since he didn't, we're just like, yeah, Nardella did exactly what he needed to do. And Game of inches, right?
Right.
Beautiful slide there by Sturos getting down to keep him out. And Albany, that's what I mean, is Albany's defense played really good. And then towards the end, they tried to fail in transition a couple times. But here, Kurtz again with the lightning stick. He seemed, yeah, just give him the ball and let him do his thing. They gave him the Fanatics turning point of the game, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. He went on a run and he had the 3 goals in a row, a natural hat trick.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that when I was watching the game that he scored 3 in a row. But he's a great player.
It's
Very
really
impressed.
it's funny what you notice live compared to on air. Like if I
For
sit here
sure.
and watch it, I'm watching the stats too, so I see what's going on. Oh, yeah, this was a great one. Did you catch this?
Uh,
Watch Grennan. So Grennan goes in, doesn't doesn't get the play that he wants, gets sandwiched instead. They take him down. Watch his feet. He just and delivers a hit before he runs
yeah,
off the
he
field.
he does the little things like that to get in people's head, man.
He gets everybody mad. Everybody wants to hit him.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, this was a great job by Buffalo getting the securing the loose ball. Cloutier twice saves it, and then he's able to bury it.
Yep. And that was a big goal there, and I was feeling a lot better when they stuck this one in there.
Yeah, no, this was huge. Cloutier comes up big here, and I like to see when the player gets rewarded that does the extra work. So he goes in, digs it off the boards, and steps in, and you see as soon as the defense sloughs down on the loose ball, he still just gets in and beats him. But
Yeah.
what a play by Cloutier. And this goal, I didn't get the feeling Buffalo was coming back. I was like, uh-oh, it's not good. But when they score almost immediately after this next faceoff, it felt like Buffalo was coming back in the building, didn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's when I was like, okay, two, one a minute, two goals in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Something we got it.
yeah, they get the reset. And yeah, this took less than 30 seconds or right around 30 seconds. So, yeah, easily they have the offensive capabilities. What a shot, though. I couldn't see any net there at all. And the camera's right behind him.
Yeah, I think he stuck that one bottom right.
Yeah. But Albany, again, they picked up the rebound. So now they're trying to just wind out the shot clock. And with Buffalo not coming up with this loose ball here, that's huge.
Yeah, that was a huge play right there. And Albany comes up with another loose ball.
Yeah. So
And
first,
then we have this play.
yeah, because
That's
that play
there we
right
go.
there, I was like, if he scores here, oh boy, now we've got a 1 goal game, little over a minute, and it
Yeah,
didn't matter.
yeah, that was a huge save. Definitely, a simple save, but the save of the game probably to really close it out for Albany.
Yeah. And then this play, Nanico gets his helmet ripped off, which you can see the check actually starts on his hip. It doesn't start up by his head. It's just the way he bends over to duck underneath, loses his helmet. But Albany decided they would give it back to him. They went down there, tried to shoot on the empty net, and missed. They were like, you know what? We'll give it back to Buffalo. We'll give him another chance. So they pull the goalie, and this was huge, a huge
Yeah,
rebound. But it's not going to matter because they fight hard. Could have been a goal, but they had already blown the whistle. Albany's going to start with the ball. They turn it back over almost immediately. And right there, though, this I thought this one was going in. He's got time. He gets just enough of the stick on it though. Kaschuk, he's been another rookie defender that he gets up in transition, so he gets a few more highlights than most guys. But this play right here, getting just enough to stop him from being able to get the clean shot, and it just bounces. But here
yep.
we go.
Nice. And then again,
Yeah. Oh, actually, here we go. Here's our best view yet. Definitely see us in this one.
oh yeah, look at us. You got the Cadillac seat.
I did.
Right on the.
Well, it's amazing because I've got the right hip, so I was able to kind of slouch over. So, yeah, you guys hooked me up. It was a an amazing trip. Huge thank you to the Seneca Spirits or the Seneca Serpents. I always want to call the Seneca Lake Serpents the Spirits. It kind of rolls off the tongue, but and the Thousand Island Spirits for getting us out there. That was an absolute blast, especially when they were able to kind of beat them. And when Dougie scores the dagger goal here, Frazier gets the shot, and Dougie just gathers the rebound and drifts it in. Everybody, you can just see people starting to get up and leave. Look at,
Yeah, yeah. As soon as the ball was flying towards that goal, we all knew it was going in.
yeah. And
So,
there's a couple guys in the front that just before it goes in, they're getting up and they're heading up. They're like, I've had enough of this. But
yeah,
Dougie Jamison, first goal of the season, but another great game for him. Wow.
yeah. But pretty epic, pretty fun. And then, did they catch the aftermath here?
I leave it running, I think, because they never shook hands, and I did not find out why. And I want to. I might
The
have to.
refs didn't allow them to. They called him off the floor. There was a lot of chirping, a lot of yelling. I don't know. You probably can't see it as well here as we could
As we
while
could
we were
there.
there.
No,
Yeah,
because it happened. So they're zoomed in here, and something is taking place down in here.
everywhere.
And then
There was a lot going on.
yeah, and then they kind of catch parts of it, but they were zooming in on the goalie. Yay, Dougie, great job. Shanahan, first ever NLL game. I mean, that's the other thing though. So literally, they had three. Uh, Tyler Brown. It was his first game back in a while. Zach Belter,
Frank Brown,
or
yeah,
Frank
Frank
Brown.
Brown.
Sorry, not
Yep.
Tyler Brown. But and then you had Belter and Shanahan
Yep.
on their NLL debuts. They did
Yeah.
great.
Frank Brown hasn't played in a couple of years, I think, since 21 or 22.
I believe so.
So I mean, he was in the box a lot, which is normal.
But here you see, yeah,
Yeah, the coaches are getting into it.
look at he's like, get your butt back here, get over there. Yeah, they were not impressed. But
Yeah, it was interesting. It was like a slow development. Like the boys were ready to shake hands and have respect, and then
the ref
the
stays.
ref kind of just
Yeah,
said no, and it almost made it worse.
it did because you see a couple of like some of these guys have played together forever.
They're professionals at the end of the day, and this is a very important part of lacrosse. Is that we do this after,
Yeah,
and the refs not even allowing it to happen. Just be refs and watch it and make sure it doesn't escalate. That's why the refs aren't allowed to go off the floor till after the handshake. They have to stay out there for that reason.
yeah. I mean, you
Yeah,
see, you can even see he's shaking hands. Sturos and Belter, at least they kind of know each other. They played against each other all summer long.
yeah, at the end of the day, once the game's over, the game's over.
Yeah,
What's supposed to stay on the floor stays on the floor, and I get the intimidation aspect of it,
but
trying to.
look at the hands just reaching through to shake hands. You literally just see this coach's hand reaching through, like,
Yeah,
hey, I want to shake hands.
I think it was a shame that they didn't like let them attempt to shake hands
It
because
was.
they were that afraid something was going to happen. It's like, and I get it's their job to protect the players, but I think they would have been okay, but it's hard to say. We don't know now.
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020. If they had gotten into a big blowout, they'd have been like, yeah, why'd the refs not stop it?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Something that's not talked about a lot, Dane Smith, he is a great player. He facilitates that offense. He had 6 assists, but he had 11 shots on goal and 0 goals.
Yeah, he
That's
didn't have his best scoring night
and that's shots
for
on
sure.
goal. So I know he missed the net at least on one of those breakaways. So that's another shot. He's got 2 or 3. So when you start talking about possessions, that's literally 13 possessions that and there's guys that do it, and then there's guys that do it like he does. And you know what? He had 14 loose balls.
Yeah,
That's nuts.
yeah, that's he's a great player. I've had the pleasure of playing against him several times. In Lax and I, he's elusive. He's one of the greatest. He's one of the best players in the league. But I noticed this year he's changed his stick a lot. He's gone from armor mesh to regular mesh to
Back to Arbor Bash, back to yeah.
yeah, I've seen a couple changes, and passing, like, I understand because I'm a feeder. Passing the ball generally when you're switching sticks isn't the issue as much as it is finishing. Getting used to finish, and I know it seems weird because at the end of the day, you are just passing the ball into the net.
But you're
Um,
not. You when you
but it
pass
makes
it
a difference.
to somebody, you have the whole head of the stick, plus you have these guys at this level that are catching passes anywhere in their vicinity. Whereas really the shot, these goalies are only leaving you an inch or two of room. Like outside of the ball's width, you couldn't take an inch circumference and add it onto the ball with a lot of these shots.
No, and that's the thing. If you don't have a stick that you're used to and consistent with, now I'm not making excuses for the guy. I just know as a player, it's very important that you have the gamer
Yeah,
dialed in, and it appears that the gamer's not dialed in, and definitely wasn't that night. He did all the other things,
yeah.
but he's got to put the ball in the net if you take 11 or 12 shots.
Yeah, Josh Byrne, 15 shots on goal, 3 goals. He missed it at a couple times too. So I mean, he's shooting under 20%. 20%'s not bad, but
Yeah,
they're
he takes a lot of shots.
he takes a lot of shots as well. You see, and really the rest of the offense was quiet other than Kluche. I mean, when you look at what
Kluche had a hell of a game.
Kluche had a hell of a game, but when you look at like Chase Frazier's numbers, yeah, I mean Chase is the one that's right above the little sound bar that comes above your
Yep.
head when you talk. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I see.
when you look at that 1 goal, 1 assist, 7 shots on goal, it's like, man, you guys they've
Yeah, Chase
gotta,
usually buries some.
yeah. The week before I was watching him and I was like, wow, he was really on fire the week before, and then this week he was not feeling it. The transition was quiet. Jameson shut him down on a couple of them, but yeah, no, Josh
You could
Martin,
tell too. You could tell Chase, when he came to the sideline, he was starting to get affected a little bit by having a bad night, and I understand it. I saw a really cool quote the other day. It was a basketball quote, but they're talking about, how long does it take you to miss a shot? Like a second, right? So if you miss, 9 shots in a game, and you have a 60-minute game, so you're going to let the other 59 minutes and 51 seconds be affected by missing 9 shots that takes that long. And it's like, when you think about it like that, man, it puts things in perspective.
yeah,
Like Dane Smith, yeah, he had 11 shots on goal and he didn't hit one of them, but he didn't let the rest of the time get affected by that. He kept shooting, kept contributing, kept picking up loose balls, and that's the difference.
yeah. 14 loose balls is nuts. That's what Joe Nardella had for Albany was 14.
Yeah,
That's what I was just looking up. I was like, how many did he have? But yeah, Kurtz was freaking on fire. So he had 14 shots on goal, 6 goals.
yeah, he's very fun to watch.
Yeah, he's a blast. I'm telling you, this
Pay
Albany
more
team.
attention to him now.
Yeah, this Albany team is so exciting, and there's so many guys that are underrated on the offense, like Travis Longboat. He has been huge, but even more than that is Ethan
Just a
Walker.
quiet 4 points.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. He had a quiet 4 points, but when you look at Ethan Walker, he only had 1 goal. Yeah, he took 11 shots, but the 3 assists, and he's one of those guys. I don't mind guys that shoot in big volumes if you pick up rebounds. If you're a guy that digs and gets in the corner, it seems, it doesn't hurt the team as much as the guy that just shoots and steps off the floor.
Yeah, shooters got to shoot. So as long as the guys that are good at shooting shoot, you're gonna have off nights. You're gonna have good nights. As long you just can't let it stop you from doing all the other things.
Yeah, yeah. Grennan,
Yeah, Hurts, what a game! 6 goals.
yeah, he was on fire. And Dougie with 46 saves.
It's a lot. It's a lot of rubber. The game was awesome. It's impressive. Fun to see Albany play live.
Yeah.
Thinking about going this week, but
So, the best way for people to find out information, you are all over social media. We have them all tagged in the description.
yeah.
But why don't you go ahead and tell us what all the handles are?
Yeah, if you get to the website, which is very simply thousandislandsspirits.com, and then I have everything right at the top. So you can click on, the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and it takes you right there. I do all this myself. I don't have like a marketing manager or anything like that. But we are running a competition. How many followers we got? 972.
972.
We're running a little giveaway where if we get to 1,000 followers on both Instagram and Facebook, which Instagram we're like 5 away, then I'm going to give out a hoodie, which I think the video is on Instagram, I think. But yeah, so that's one thing we're trying to do. It's a follower thing. So all followers will be eligible. People that like and share will go into a separate drawing to win a hat.
Yes.
So that's all you got to do is try to like and share.
Is
They're
this
both.
Is this the hoodie video?
That's the one that just shows a picture of the hoodie like that, yeah, and it plays Happy Valentine's Day because that's when I did it because we wanted to show some love
Yeah.
to our followers. But yeah, that it's super impressive. I just got mine today, the prototype, and yeah, that's the video. But yeah, it's we've had a pretty good following, nationwide, which has been cool. I got people in Florida that know us. There's people all over. I'm actually super impressed. I need to do more on TikTok. Don't
I,
do a lot of.
I don't have a TikTok, so this is all I can show you for
Yeah,
TikTok.
I don't do a lot on there. And then our YouTube channel, I'm gonna add an unboxing video today or tomorrow that has what we did there.
Yeah. And you've got a bunch of your games posted up there. You've got your
That was from
it's
last
like
year's
the
episode.
intro video. This is cool if nobody's if you haven't seen it. I love this
Yeah,
little
I have a few of them.
yeah.
I did invest in a couple logo animations. They're very cool. And depending on how you use them, you can do more. And then in the plans and pricing section, I'm doing a youth skill sessions, which we're starting that in April, May. Our tryout is actually April 7th, so we'll start up right after our tryout. We'll go right into a youth session, which will be interesting. But yeah, so I got that going this summer, spring, and it's helmet and gloves. So like even if kids are in season, it's just an extra little skill session for them. It's not gonna,
Not going to be
you
full
know,
contact. You don't have to worry
not
about
risk,
anybody.
yeah, not risking injury, just trying to help get some lacrosse skills. And that's how you contact me. So, and then we got to get the merchandise. Basically, if you click on my logo at the top of the screen,
Oh,
or click, no, you can click on that too to go to our corner store. We got a lot of cool stuff, and we sell everything. We have shoes. You can get New Balance. If you need cleats or turf shoes or basketball shoes, hats, gear. There's jewelry on there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Second Slide does an awesome job. And we're partnered with them through the NABLL.
yeah.
And
Seems
then I
awesome.
can't wait to release my Sun hoodie. I'm pretty pumped about getting that on there.
Yeah, no, there's yeah, if you go through Second Slide for anybody who's unfamiliar with it, you can get a ton of stuff. All the stuff is very it's high quality stuff. That long sleeve hoodie that you're giving out is more like a warm up hoodie where it's like a thin material, correct?
Yeah, it's called a Sun hoodie. That's not on there yet. They wanted to send me, so like when we designed some shorts a while ago, we wanted to make sure that I wanted to make sure they were what I was looking for first. And I'm glad I did because when they sent the shorts, they weren't
What you
like
wanted.
perfect. There was some issues with them. There we go. Yeah, the hoodie is cool, man. The hoodie is
I really like that sun hoodie. That was cool.
the back of it is sick. It's huge, huge logo on the back, and it's like our warm up shirts. And then the front just has a simple logo. There's the camera. It's weird on the front facing camera. I don't know it as well. Yeah. And then we got the old NABLL represented, on one sleeve. I think it's important to put the NABL logo on my stuff. I try to put it on everything because, we're building a brand, but we're within that league and they don't care if you go and play in other things. So why not share some love with them and try to help
Well,
get some
when you go
recognition?
to these tournaments, if you're wearing a Thousand Islands jersey that has an NABLL, and somebody asks you that's from like the Great Plain Leagues or the Mohawk League, or there's all kinds of leagues, you guys play all over the place, or even if you're just up in Placid playing somewhere and somebody sees the logo on your T-shirt, it's a it
Yeah.
helps the league grow because basically all of these small leagues could essentially be divisions, and then you can kind of see where you stand when you go to nationals. I really like how they set that up, where basically if you ran a division before, like if you ran a league, you're allowed to keep your structure for the most part because if you follow the rules, unless you played 3 periods, that'd be a little bit of a difference. But other than
Yeah,
that,
there's a couple of rules you got to change. Bigger
yeah,
goal if you have the other size goals, So it's the NABL is great, and it's been cool to be a part of, and can't wait to get back to nationals. That's the goal, right? Look at we got the cup somewhere
100%,
back
yeah.
here.
So
Where is it? Right here. Oh, look there we go. We got the camera's covering it.
there
You
it
know,
is.
the cup.
The Upstate NABLL Cup. Fun as always talking to you. All the links are in the description to get there. Definitely check it out. If you're within a hour or so drive of Thousand Islands and you play box lacrosse and you want to, or if you just play field lacrosse and want to go to the open floor nights and give it a try. Open floor nights, you guys use NABLL insurance once the season starts, correct?
Yeah, yep.
All right.
Yeah, we just if guys register, then they're covered. I just have people sign a disclaimer, honestly. Across. Did you see there's a box convention in Connecticut this summer?
I have seen that. I
Yeah.
started following
Just
the
opened and that was it. There's just one logo that says nothing. It's in
yeah,
Connecticut. That's all I know.
yeah. He's starting it from the ground up.
Yeah, I'm curious who's doing it.
Yeah, send him a message. Let me know what happens.
Yeah, I'll try.
If anybody knows anything about it, let us know what's going on. I'll make this a short here. We're gonna have to, yeah. Who knows about the Box Lacrosse convention? We're gonna mention them and tag it, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's get them out there.
All right. Yeah,
Bye, buddy.
it's been a blast. Thanks as always, and yeah, wish nothing but the best for you guys up there. Continue growing it.